right behind, waiting for waiting for an open invitation here. By the way, where are you now in the realm of Battlegrounds?
Yeah, I kind of been hovering around the 5,400. I really haven't been putting as much time into it lately, but the last several sessions that I've played has been an increase. So,
That's good. All right, so the options that you have: Nozdormu, Edwin Van Cleef, Yogg-Saron, or Deathwing. Um, what are you thinking? Because I kind of have like my clear pick, and then my two possibles, and then the I probably would never.
yeah, I think Nas is the pick here. Probably
Right.
Yogg second, maybe Edwin next, and then Deathwing.
Okay. Okay, I was thinking Nas as well, so works for me.
All right. Plus, it's a dragon. We gotta play.
I,
It's a
I
live
was
game.
I will say Yogg was actually my last pick. Just because I don't know, Yogg falls off so hard in late game.
It can, yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
Alley Cats, Red Whelps, and Micro Machines for turn one.
I think we're gonna
I'm
go
I'm
Alley
not.
Cat.
Yeah, I mean Alley Cat to me is the clear one for tokenage.
And we can do a free refresh even just to see what else we get. We got another token, so part of me actually just wants to freeze this and take
Yeah,
the other
Murloc
token.
Tidehunter. I mean that'd also give you a really big board for turn two.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you a lot of stuff to sell later on.
Yeah, and the thing with tokens, I feel like too, is that so next turn we might be able to just upgrade, right? We'll have 4 coins. We can go into the next tavern tier, or we can buy something. And even though it feels like we might be behind because we're not going to be upgrading to the next tavern tier, we're basically going to get, like you said, kind of a huge swing turn on another turn now.
Right. And first match was against Ysera. Unfortunately, we lost. They were, they had a 2-3 taunt. I think that's fine. I mean, turn one, not necessarily the biggest thing to worry about. And also, you're setting up for a really strong board. You grab the Tide Hunter, and then you're freezing the board. I'm guessing for the Rockpool Hunter, or
Yeah, so our board is a Dragonspawn Lieutenant, a Rockpool Hunter, or the Sourlisk. So I re-rolled for that free re-roll and then froze the board with those. Yeah, we do have 2 Murlocs now on board, so the Rockpool Hunter can do something with our 2-1. Make that a 3-2. We also could take the Sourlisk if we want to, but we have the possibility now of selling one of these tokens, buying something off the board, and upgrading to the next tavern. So we can kind of do a lot. And then we can re-roll too.
Well, you've got 20 seconds to do so, so I'm just going to let you take
Yeah.
your turn, and then we'll talk about it in the next round. You won that last round against Shutterwalk. I'm not sure what Shutterwalk was doing. All he had was the Alley Cat and no token, so that was kind of weird. Oh, now do you freeze the board for the Murkai?
I think so.
Are you going to be going going Murlocs?
Maybe we are. Maybe Murlocs is our path this game. Oh no, okay, so they have Divine Shield. No, I think it's hit in the wrong order.
So you're up against Galakron right now, and yeah, Galakron took that. Luckily, he's still only at Tavern Tier 1, and the Sarlisk was only 1, so you only took 2 damage. So you're still at 36. You have plenty of health to go. I
Yeah.
do see Fungalmancer Flurgle also going Murlocs, which, I mean, that's to be expected. And doing fairly well, it would appear. So, is it Tavern Tier 2?
Alright, so we are going to face against Ysera again. It shows they have 2 dragons. I'm kind of deciding between a Kabootbot or Spawn, but we have all these tokens on board. I think I'm just going to take the Spawn of N'Zoth. Although I kind of do like the Boombot too. But
Absolutely.
I don't think I'm going to freeze this board. I think I actually just want to let it reset. And then if it's bad at the start, I'll just use the free refresh.
Okay, so Ysera is full
Definitely
dragons out the gate. You got the 2 red whelps and the 2 dragon spawn lieutenants. I think you win this round though, and
Oh, yeah.
although we could be using Bob's Buddy for this, and it would probably make it easier. I play on a Mac, so I wouldn't have access to it. But yeah, you took that round relatively easy. That's the problem with the red whelps that I see is that if you can't break through anything important with your red whelps, they're just kind of wasted board space.
Yeah. And, okay, so here we have the possibility to go to Tavern Tier 3 with five coins, sell something, and then buy if we really want to. And I think I kind of do want to do that. I'm just going to go to the next Tavern Tier refresh for free. And we didn't really find anything exciting. I guess maybe Zoobot. We get a buff. We do have a... No, I just sold the beast, didn't I? Well, that was a misstep. I sold the beast on accident. I should have sold the 1/1 Murloc, and then I could have gotten a buff on a beast and a Murloc. But I was running out of time, and I think I just grabbed the first one and didn't think through that fully. But...
And you beat Lady Vash this round relatively easily anyway. Not sure what she's trying to set up. It says that she's going primarily dragons, but looking at the board, it seems like it was more mixed minions than anything.
Yeah.
So I see the Murloc War Leader on the board. Is that kind of a insta grab, or do you think that you could probably find something better?
No, I think that's pretty good. I mean, we do have 4 Murlocs on board right now out of our 6 minions, so the War Leader is going to give us a huge buff there. I'm kind of debating, though, about taking anything else on the board. We have a Harvest Golem, a Homunculus, and a Pogo Hopper. I kind of want to just take the War Leader and then use our free refresh and see what else we get here.
And I'm seeing, yeah, and just for those that are still listening to the show and not watching it, board looks like this. You have a Spawn and Azoth, an old Murkai that's an 8/4 right now with Murloc Tidehunter, Rockpool Hunter. Just sold the token to grab Crystal Weaver, which is interesting, but it's a big body. I get that.
Yeah.
Zubot, Murloc War Leader, and again that Crystal Weaver. And you also picked up a Scavenging Hyena. What's with the Hyena pick? Just to keep someone else from using it?
I still had 3 coins, so instead of doing a refresh and then trying to sell something and lessening the board, I just grabbed one of the things that was left. Scavenging Hyena, we might transition into something else depending on what's offered, but really it's just a matter of if I have the 3 coins, I'd rather be able to at least grab something to just sell off for another coin later, because you don't get to roll those coins over. So if I didn't buy something, then I literally just wasted those coins. So this is just another body that I can at least sell next round or whatever for another coin.
And like you said, the fact that if you do need to transition into something, you now have something in your hand that helps make that a little bit smoother instead of trying to rebuild from zero. Grabbing the Cold Light Seer, that's kind of a big one. You did win that last round against Galakrond again, and you're actually dealing good damage. You're doing 10 damage every time you've won, the last couple of turns, which is great because it's one of those things that people tend to not think about that often of how much damage are you dealing when you win. If you're only dealing 4 or 5 damage, that's not great, but when you can flip it and deal 10, 12, 15 damage early in the game, it really allows you to eliminate people faster, which also frees up minions that you might be looking for in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we are against that Flurgle we talked about. So, yep, bunch of Murlocs. Their Murlocs are a little bit more meaty than mine.
Yeah, and they do have the old Murkai that has poison on it. Apparently from a Toxfin, I would guess, because there's no other suggestion of anything else. Looks like
they actually draw.
Okay, yeah, that's a draw. That's actually, the, I would think, the best outcome outside of taking that turn.
Yeah. And we do have another Cold Light Seer we can buy, which I think is what I want to do. And I think I'll just buy this. I'm not really wanting anything else on board. We've got a Rat Pack, a Security Rover, a couple Dragons, but they're not really impactful, I don't feel like. Maybe the Security Rover, but I'm just going to use the free refresh here and see what else we can find. These are not very exciting. I am at Tavern Tier 4, but we're not really finding anything at 4. These are all kind of sad.
Would it be worth selling something and go ahead and leveling up to Tavern Tier 5 since you do have the second Cold Lyseer in hand?
It might be. And I'm probably just going to sell that first Cold Light Seer that we still have on board. I'm really just going for the value on board, not as much like trying to find and keep things for triples.
See, I would have sold the Crystal Weaver for that exact reason, but that's just me. But yeah, I think this puts you at 5. You are... Okay, there's a few of you at 5. The Rat King, who I don't think we've played yet. Ysera, and that is it. And like I said, yourself. So everyone else seems to be around Tavern Tier 4. No one's trying to do the stay at Tavern Tier 1 comp, which I think was a meme for like a hot second and then died.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're going the Baron Rivendare with Beast Strat, which is...
I think this is going to be pretty bad for us.
So I think in this situation, the only thing you can really hope for is that you eliminate the higher cost minions to mitigate the damage.
Yeah, pretty much. We pretty much know we're going to lose, so ideally we're going to take out like the pack leader or the Baron Rivendare, which we do not. And we take a boatload of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
16 damage. I was at 36, and we take 16. That's a huge chunk.
So that's it. You've only lost 3 rounds this game, that being the third one. And this is where I was talking about once the game starts scaling up a little bit and you start taking more damage, the fact that you can mitigate the damage that you have taken, you're still at 20. And, yeah, you're in 5th place currently, but I'm looking at like Lady Vosh, who we're playing up against next. I'm looking at Galakron, and I'm looking at the Rat King, and Lady Vosh is in single digits. So if she loses this round, it's a good chance that she's out. Galakron, maybe one other turn after that, but for the most part, it's not necessarily do or die for you at this point, where it is for some others. So here's a good question. You have the spawn on Azoth. You grab the second spawn on Azoth. I'm wondering, do you think that you can get the golden? And is it worth even trying at this point?
It might not be worth trying.
I also see that second Bronze Warden. You grabbed one earlier. It's still sitting in hand. Is that going to be something that you think about grabbing? It is.
Yeah. I think I just ran out of time there. I probably could have done a little bit more selling. I probably could have sold off the Crystal Weaver, maybe even dropped the second Bronze Warden or a second spawn of N'Zoth.
Well, I think the real question is, how worried are you about the fragility of your board? I mean, it seems like the board is somewhat resilient, but I'm also looking at kind of in this transition phase. This is where it's not necessarily as much about, how big your minions are, but how survivable they are. Yeah. Like, how can you keep your board up and running? Like, you lose this turn, but it's just to a Wax Rider Togwaggle that's kind of big. So it's only 6 damage. You're still doing okay.
All right, so we just rolled this tavern. It's got a Sneed's Old Shredder, a Mechano Egg, and a Security Rover. And honestly, those all look really good to me right now. I'm thinking about dropping some of this weaker stuff and grabbing those.
Yeah, I wonder about that because you have no mechs currently.
Yeah.
So you would be almost transitioning into mechs on the fly, going up against Ysera, who is Tavern Tier 5 with dragons.
Yeah. And there could be consideration here. We got mechs on, or we have the Murlocs on board. I could have taverned to 6 and then used the free reroll to try to find Megasaur, but these just seemed like really good minions on board too. So
Yeah, you didn't have any of the kind of in-game Murloc cards to help. You didn't have a
yeah,
Felfin Navigator. You didn't have was it King Bagurgle? Um, so I mean, it almost seems like the game doesn't want you to go Murlocs. Which, I mean, does anyone ever really want to go Murlocs?
not really.
You
All
do
right.
it because you have to, not because you want to.
Oh my gosh.
But
This
yeah, that's a big
Ysera
board.
has a really good board here, yeah. I'm not sure how we're gonna do with this.
Yeah, and the fact that they sniped one of your mechs early before it could actually develop really hurts.
Yeah. This is one of those just hope that we mitigate some of the damage, but I mean if we can get out
Doesn't
no.
quite
No.
look it.
Ow. Are we dead? Oh, we're dead. Yikes. Yeah, just this was a game where I feel like I really couldn't get through that transition period. We didn't, like you said, we never found a navigator. We really didn't find any impactful minions to try to even transition until it was a little bit too late. Everybody else had already kind of found a lot of big stuff and big boards before we could find anything.
Yeah.